Disruptive innovation is inherently controversial and tends to be quite a volatile strategy. If you have a long-term investment horizon, which you have to when you're investing in disruptive innovation, things tend to work out. So right now we're at 0.25% to 0.5% is the range for the Fed funds rate, and many think that it will go now as high as 1%. And as you may know, we have been flagging that the bond market itself is flagging warning signs to the Fed. And so we'd be surprised if they go the full 50, especially because the bond market is sending stronger signals today than it has for some time. The yield curve has inverted. The 10-year Treasury bond yield is below the 2-year Treasury bond yield. And it's been, and when we get to the bond section, I'll talk more about the yield curve. But that is a sign to the Fed that either growth is going to disappoint or inflation is going to disappoint, or both during the next few months to a year. And so we think that some on the Fed have been signaling, hey, and in fact, I think the Fed president, the president of the Minneapolis Fed, Kashkari, said, maybe we should be watching some of these other indicators. They do not seem to be suggesting that inflation is baked in the cake, meaning embedded now in the system, never to go away. That's the great fear, that we're in a replay of the 70s, where we reached double-digit inflation and interest rates before Fed Chairman Volcker was able to wrestle inflation to the ground. We don't think that's the case at all. We think the bond market is sending signals, and it's not just our bond markets, bond markets around the world, sending signals that, whoa, wait, you can't do this. So I think they'll probably do 25. We thought at the last meeting they might do 50, so one and done. We've been saying 2 25 basis point moves. I'd be surprised to see 50, but I do see that this Fed, many of the Fed members are very afraid that they will walk away with a legacy of letting inflation out of the bag again. So they might want to play it tough, but I think the bond market will give them an even more severe warning that they're playing with fire. Now, the other thing that's interesting about the bond market is if you look at the 2-year bond yield, it has already priced in the expectation that the Fed is going to move another 3 to 4 or 5 times, depending on how many 50 basis point moves are incorporated. And so this should be in the market. And if the bond market is successful in changing the Fed's mind, then we will have a very bullish environment. And I do believe that is what's going to happen. I don't know when, but I do believe that's what's going to happen. Fiscal policy. Okay, the latest out of this administration is a wealth tax proposal, or a proposal to tax unrealized capital gains. This is a midterm election year. I didn't think we would see this kind of discussion taken seriously this year, and I don't think it will be taken seriously. I think it's a setup for the midterm elections and to play the rich against the poor, that whole election year dynamic. And we don't think a wealth tax will get through. What's also very interesting is the administration is observing with some alarm how energy prices are crushing the purchasing power of lower income individuals, lower to middle income earners. And it has released or announced that it is releasing 1 million barrels per day from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve for the next 6 months. almost up to the midterm elections, conveniently. We would suggest, and we're also seeing signs that the administration is warming up to the idea that for national security purposes alone, we should be ramping our own energy production back up to its peak and beyond, and become independent of anyone out there in terms of our energy needs, and even to help our allies and our partners in the rest of the world, certainly in Europe, overcome their dependence on Russia. So we shall see if the administration does move more aggressively in this direction. It makes sense. It will create jobs. If the economy is slowing the way we think it is slowing, the administration will want to create more jobs. And so hopefully we will see a more friendly attitude towards investing in energy for national security. Clean energy is better, but energy independence is paramount now. Now, economic indicators, as I mentioned, we did get the employment report today. The report itself was a little. It was probably, when you include all revisions, it was in line with expectations. 431,000 non-farm payroll jobs. That's an increase. Household employment was up 736, so they're corroborating each other. Very strong employment situation. Now, if we're right in the economy slowing down, what is going on? Well, first of all, employment is a lagging indicator. And second, the same thing could be going on with employment that has gone on, we believe, with inventories. We believe there's a massive inventory buildup underway right now, and it's because of supply chain problems. So it's probably the result of purchasing managers who ordered way too much for what they're really going to need, thinking they wouldn't get everything. And now I think they're getting everything they wanted, and now much more. What's happening in employment? We think the same thing could be going on. There have been a lot of businesses looking for employees for a long time, a lot of help wanted signs out there and so forth. So there could be a little bit of that, hey, I'm going to get them while I can get them. And if business slows down, so be it. I can't go through ever again what I've just been through. One of the very good pieces of news in the employment report is the prime age labor participation rate went up a lot. Up to 82.5%, and I think the peak pre-COVID was 83%, so that's really good. Unemployment, you have to go back to the late 60s to see the unemployment rate lower, so it's at 3.6%. Initial claims have been pointing us in that direction for quite some time. Average hourly earnings were up 0.5%. They're up 5.6% on a year-over-year basis. They were up only 0.1% with a revision last month, so there was no real major catch-up. And if you look at the last 3 months and annualize it, that growth rate, the wage growth rate, slows to 4.5%. And if we're right, productivity gains are going to offset a lot of wage gains moving forward. Maybe not right away, but moving forward.